It's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, Algria. Good morning, you Gumpers. How are you this morning? Munson here with the Expats Portugal show on this extraordinary morning. And of course, as you can see in the ticker tape at the bottom there, if you want to post any messages of remembrance or condolence for Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom, please do so in the chat. Or if you see this later on and you would like to record something for posterity, please do that as a comment on the video there. So yes, of course, the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II taking place not long after we conclude today. It is, of course, Migration Monday here on the Expats Portugal show. And before then, between now and 9 o'clock, when Gilda from EI joins us, we will have thoughts from the Redwoods, the American in Portugal, reflecting on life, living, some rather personal and practical matters when it comes to being in Portugal as an American and as a human being, first and foremost. But also the philosophical high notes as well that we've come to expect and enjoy from James of a Monday morning as well. Deagle's in, T-Duck's in. T-Duck in first, I think, at 23 minutes past 6. Excellent job, T-Duck. Deagle as well. James's name this morning is Techno Slug. I loves me some boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants. With his new Q this, nothing to do with QAnon, as I suspected. Pete's in as well this morning. Good morning, Pete. Lao Tzu is with us this morning. That's you're in good company this morning, everybody. Dad jokes, Portuguese sayings, deep thoughts of the day. This is fantastic. Oh, and a spooky little splash of light on the green screen coming in through the clouds this morning. Took a little picture this morning of the dawn. However you are positioned in terms of your attitude towards the funeral today of Queen Elizabeth II, it's quite a poignant day. It's difficult to escape from the general world interest in the whole event, and I was out and took a poignant dawn-like picture because, of course, as the sun sets on her reign, a new sun arises as well, and we have a new time to look forward to as well. So just I took a poignant sunrise picture as well this morning. Do share your pictures on 913-590-303 if you will. Lots of actual dad jokes coming in from every direction, and an uncle joke as well, I would say. I've not got yours down as a dad joke, Pete. I've got yours more down as an uncle joke, if you don't mind me saying. Yes, peppered with deep thoughts and Portuguese sayings and lots of lovely insights, Gumper type insights coming in from all over the place this morning, with Andy here as well. Oh, and bye Andy, and Lisboa Andy as well, and Lord Gilchrist, who will probably be wearing, like Pete is, I think, wearing military uniform this morning in honor of Queen Elizabeth II, and Lord Gilchrist presumably will be observing the event in his own lordly way as well. Nuna's in as well. Darren too. Thank you everybody for being here this morning. Nuna, we need to catch up this week, don't we? Of course, Suze is in too. Stephen Wells. Chana, good morning. Chanu, I beg your pardon. Chanu Himasha. Bon dia, Carl from you. Good morning, Chanu. How are you? Trevor's in as well. Trevor van der Schiff is in. Bon dia from South Africa. And Sammy Batard. Great to see a few new names. Excellent. Thank you, Sammy, for being here. We will, of course, check in. Talk of Mandela, Gilda's dog as well. So we'll make sure we catch up with Mandela. And good dad joke, the Mandela effect. I know what you're talking about there, Darren. Okay. Let us then, if you will, I will let you know what the position is for Portugal. Because, of course, a publication of the decree declaring 3 days of mourning was issued in the last couple of days. mourning for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. This is from Safe Communities Portugal via Jacqueline Branco. Good morning to you, Jacqueline, as well. Thank you for this. 3 days of national mourning then declared by Portugal, starting yesterday on the 18th of September 2022. What does it mean, the days of national mourning in Portugal? During the days of national mourning, the national flag must be hoisted at half-mast in all public buildings, following the announcement made on the 15th of September 2022 by decree, which has now been published. It states that, in summary, declares national mourning for the death of Queen Elizabeth II, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, profoundly marked the second half of the 20th century and first quarter of the 21st century. Even before becoming queen, she officially served during the Second World War, either as a mechanic or through radio broadcasts. Wow, in good company. As head of state, she was an example of public service and delivery, as well as devotion to her duty, which had repercussions across borders, being unanimously remembered as a benchmark of stability. Her contribution to her country during the difficult post-war period is undeniable, as well as to the development of close and friendly relations with dozens of countries in the Commonwealth and among the United Kingdom's allies on several continents, which I'm sure Portugal would include itself in, and the special relationship that we have. That's my bit added there. The exceptional longevity of her reign, during which she was served with 15 prime ministers, symbolizes the entire most recent era of his country's history, hers, I guess, translation thing there, an era in which profound transformations took place at the political, but also the scientific, technological, and sociological levels. The Queen was a friend of Portugal, having strengthened the country's old Portuguese-British ties through 2 memorable visits to our country in 1957 and 1985, so 1957 and 1985, and received 4 presidents of the Portuguese Republic on state visits as well to the United Kingdom. In 1993, she was awarded the Military Order of the Tower and the Sword of Valour, Loyalty, and Merit. In this moment of prolonged and deep mourning for our oldest ally, and just as a tribute to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, who died on September the 8th, 2022, the government intends to declare national mourning for 3 days. There you go. And of course, the signatures and counter-signatories, as you would expect, from the President, Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, and Prime Minister Antonio Luís Santos da Costa there. And that's why you might see flags flying at half-mast on Portuguese public buildings this morning. In other news on a more down-to-earth level, literally, we have the weather warning as well this morning that I would like to share with you, if I can find that, because IPMA, you need to know this as well, I think, in certain parts of Portugal, IPMA issues yellow level rain and thunderstorm warnings for 11 districts for Monday, the 19th of September. What an atmosphere, huh, this morning. IPMA has issued yellow level rain, I beg your pardon, and thunderstorm warnings for 11 districts from midnight tonight. So that went back to midnight, from yesterday. So we're going into this yellow warning now in the districts of Beja, Castelo Branco, Coimbra, Évora, Faro, Guarda, Leiria, Lisbon, Porto Alegre, Santarém, and Setúbal. Showers at times heavy, which may be hail as well today, and accompanied by thunderstorms and gusts. Thunderstorms and showers, yes, hail and gusts this morning for the Iberian Peninsula, certainly in the southwest and southern regions. And so be careful out there. Powerful mixtures of mud forecast, rocks, boulders, entire trees, and sometimes homes or vehicles might be under threat. This is, the one of the complicating factors with this warning is that with heavy rain falling on what they're calling scarred or burned land from the recent wildfires, debris flows are possible. So these can be fast-moving and deadly landslides, is what's being said, with mud, rock, boulders, entire trees, and sometimes even homes or vehicles. You'll often hear debris flows called mudslides or mud flows. Many people use the terms interchangeably, but to scientists, each is a different kind of landslide, and debris flows are the most powerful and dangerous of the 3. So you may hear of that. So be very careful there in land that has been scorched by the wildfires and now may be subject to some sort of deluge or other. Okay. Also today, we arrived in Portugal 5 years ago. Me, Mrs. M, and our eldest too, because the youngest hadn't been born just yet. 5 years ago, he's only 3. So we're celebrating today 5 years of being in Portugal. Our little photo, the first proper photo I took of being here in Portugal, I will share with you as well. But let's have a look at a few comments, shall we, before we're joined by the Slugs friend James with thoughts from the Redwoods this morning. Bon dia, Gumpers. Well, 2 ducks in a row, of course. 2 of many. Nice work this morning, T-Duck. Thank you. Bon dia, Carl and Gumpers. Cold, dry Belfast overnight should be 12 to 15. We lit our big open fire last night, first this autumn, and you say it's the brr months, September, October, November, and December, and January as well. What's that? T-Duck has been reported for not liking the show. It's getting serious. Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz segunda a todos. Como foi o vosso fim de semana? How was your weekend, everybody? He might ask you that himself. And we'll also let him do his cue this himself this morning. It's pointless me doing it and then him being here when he can do it himself. So he will do that in just a moment. Pete dressing up in military uniform. Well done, Pete. Deep thought of the day then. I think there'll be a lot of profound and deep thoughts today. Often a funeral does this to people, and there will be no greater reported funeral, I suspect, than Queen Elizabeth II's for many, well, if ever, possibly. Deep thought of the day. What's your thoughts? They become words. What's your words? They become actions. What's your actions? They become habit. Well, Lao Tzu there, Mike, or Lao Tzu, or Lao Tzu. I think that translates as the old boy, doesn't it, in Chinese, as I recall. I'm a big fan of Lao Tzu and the Tao Te Ching, which is what T-Duck is telling us about here. Ancient Chinese philosopher and writer. He wasn't ancient. It wasn't always ancient. He is now, but I think he was a bit of an old geezer at the time of writing, hence the name Old Boy. He is the reputed author of Tao Te Ching and the founder of philosophical Taoism. There you go. From Taoist China to traditional Portugal, and a saying of the day, longo dos olhos, longo do coração, far from the eyes, far from the heart, out of sight, out of mind. There you go. Thank you very much. And a variation thereof, o que os olhos não veem, o coração não sente. What the eyes don't see, the heart doesn't feel. And there's also something I was horrifically told once. I used to work with disabled people. And a parent of one of the disabled people said, where there's no sense, there's no pain, connected to these traditional sayings here. But what a thing to say. Honestly, it stayed with me. One of those where you go, oh, wow, okay. Dad jokes, then we'll come back to those. As we do later on today. And there's quite a lot of them. There's visual ones, there's all sorts. And one that was sent to me as well about koi carp. Thank you, Square Eyes, for that. People really getting in, piling in with the dad jokes. And an uncle joke, as I said, about Cinderella from Pete, which I daren't read out. And just popped in to say bon dia, offer some real life. What is real life gumping? The Gumpers Porto meetup today. See you also. There's Hank, Connie. Connie, if you're here, can you let us know more about the Porto meetup? I think Jerry's up there this morning. Well, not this morning. It'll be lunchtime, I believe. If somebody can give me further details, that'd be great. Please let us know what's going on with the Porto meetup this morning, or Porto, as some people will obviously be saying. Americans going to the James can speak to me about that. My accent in just a moment. And Nunu's here. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Carl. Yeah, let's get you on this week because we missed you last week. And good news from Darren, finally, for the time being anyway. We'll have more comments to share with you, of course, this morning. Morning Gumpers have started the process with EI. Well done, Darren. Anna has our info for the NEEFs now and are starting to push through things. Excellent stuff. Okay, let's set him up. Let's bring him on with his own video. We'll talk to James with his thoughts from the Redwoods after this. And then his new Cue This franchise, I think it will be. We both like that little twang at the end there, don't we? How are you? Oh, we're here.
Less twang. I always go.
Good morning. Hola, bon dia. Todo bem, James? How are you, my
It's
friend?
going Very well, thanks. As always.
Good, good, excellent stuff. And what's on your mind this morning? Of course, quite the momentous day around the world, whether you're British from the UK or not. A lot of eyes fixed on probably the biggest televised funeral in history, and of course, Portugal having declared 3 days of mourning as well because of the relationship between the UK and Portugal. Are your thoughts connected in any way with that, or are they unconnected, disconnected to that?
Well, given that my view is that everything's connected, in some
Yes.
way, it probably is
Yes.
connected, but it wasn't. My thoughts were not led to the Queen or the funeral or any of that in thinking about what I wanted to talk about today.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Well, what did you want to talk about today? And before you do, may you introduce your your new Cue This feature, please?
Well, with all the Will Rogers quotes, as much as I enjoy them, I realize that there are many, many, many quotes over the years that have actually inspired and influenced me and hence my counter partner Slug. So the Cue This is actually an acronym for quotes that have inspired Slug. QTHIS.
Okay.
So that's, and I thought, okay, there's a play on words. Cue this, set it up, put it up. Here it is. So that's the new feature. Is just basically now Slug is representing the quotes that have inspired him.
Well, thank you. We will look forward to those. And there's just something about inspiring quotes, isn't there? You know, we see them as chapter headings in books. I always like to see a little bit of an inspirational quote before a chapter begins in a book, of usually of the personal development kind. But they have an enduring quality, don't they? These wonderful quotes. And you're obviously sharing some with us.
I think they become quotable by virtue of that. There's power in the words that people resonate with, and so they get repeated.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, indeed. Okay, so we'll look forward to those. Your T-shirt is already being loved. You are here to. Where'd you get that from?
It was actually part of the. I've shown it before, but it was part of the marketing campaign of a nonprofit called Earth Island Institute, and the image of the Earth with the black background representing that Earth is an island in space. You know, we get this sense that it's some big thing underneath our feet, but in truth, it's just another ball of mass in the infinity of space. So I love the idea that you are here because this is where we are. And when you look in space, while more and more we're finding there's other planets like it, so far as we know, it's the only and I use the word intelligent life rather loosely.
Yes, well done.
But habited by intelligent life. So it's a very, very rare jewel in space. And to me, my joke with You Are Here is that it always helps to remind me I don't get lost when I wear this shirt. But I really love the marketing campaign of that year where they used the Earth Island to represent their organization.
Very good. So You Are Here. Nice little reminder there. Somebody sent me some what I thought were pictures of football hooligans. It's a man cave meetup, I think, that happened. I did get some calls in the early hours. Exactly. I did get these from you, Pete, this morning. Thank you very much to whoever sent me these.
Thank you, by the way, Michelle.
I'm not sure people should have to see this first thing on a Monday morning, but thank you for your calls as well, Lee McGrady, after midnight on Saturday, sharing your mirth and merriment from the capital. I hope you fellas had a good time. It looks like you did. Where did you eat and what did you eat? It looks like you were at a Chinese restaurant for some reason, a traditional Portuguese Chinese meal. Brilliant. Okay, sorry, back to you then, James, for your thoughts from the Redwoods this morning. What's been on your mind?
Well, for a while, I've been working on the identity that we refer to often as ego, and the role that ego plays in much, if not all, of the conflict, interpersonal and worldwide. So I really wanted to be able to speak to that because to me, Well, first I should probably define what I mean by ego, because there's a lot of different meanings to it. For me, I define ego as that part of us that identifies us as individual. So the
Hmm.
me, the I that I refer to could also be referred to as ego. When I say I do this, or, you know, in the caveman cell, me want whatever, the me, it is me. The ego is the sort of foundational aspect of that. And developmentally, research has shown that ego is fairly well formed by the age of 4 years old. And it's that separation process of identifying myself as separate from my siblings, separate from my parents, but still the identity is I am my family. And then developmentally later it becomes I am someone with friends, and screw the family, and that's usually called adolescence.
What a brilliant definition.
Yes. So it tends to continue to evolve, but it's primarily formed by age 4. And I say that because when I look at ego and an ego reaction, it typically looks like a 4-year-old would look in terms of
Yes.
the attitude it has and the words it's saying. No matter what our age, when ego is running the show, it's essentially how I explain it. It's just a 4-year-old running the show in the moment, even though it looks like an adult body. We talked last week a little bit about, well, maybe more than a little, about the reptilian brain, which is sort of the fundamental survival brain, and then the limbic brain, which is got a little bit of how do you take care of the offspring so they don't die, but it's not about love and affection. It's just about survival. I think ego is just a slightly more advanced stage of the brain development, in that there is a consciousness of me separate from something else that doesn't exist in all life forms. So somewhere in there, ego is, but it's still pretty primitive, still very close to the caveman.
Yes.
So uh, it is primarily emotional survival. It's the identity of me. So it's who I am. And because it's attached to survival, when that identity feels threatened, it has the same reaction as when we feel threatened currently. It wants to attack, it wants to defend, or it wants to disappear. And you can see that consistently when there's two egos battling each other.
Yes.
One person may say, well, you're stupid, which means I'm smart because you're not. So that's my ego now threatening your ego. I'm threatening your identity, telling you that you are something that you may not identify with. Now, if you believe you are stupid, it may not be a threat, but typically we want to react. So that reaction is going to be, I'm either going to attack back, oh yeah, well, you're stupid, or I'm going to defend. It's like, I got straight A's, right?
Yes.
Or I'm gonna hide. I'm gonna go, screw you. I'm out of this. I'm not going to talk about this. And that's basically it. Those are more or less the three options that ego has when it feels threatened. Now,
Yeah.
ego isn't all bad. When ego feels acknowledged and recognized, I say it purrs like a kitten, right? It's just like, oh yeah, ooh, purr, 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 right? But
Yes.
that's ego as well. But the reason that ego has become so important in my thinking and working with, particularly with relationships with couples, with parents and kids, and then people in general, and why I say even globally, is that, in my opinion, all conflict is sourced in ego. All
Yeah.
conflict is me being right, you being wrong. I'm better, you're worse. I'm smarter, you're dumber. I'm one up, you're one down. It's just all this positioning to uh, claim a space for an identity that says, I deserve to be here, and that's because I'm better than you, or I know more than you, or whatever. And so
Mm.
conflict is one ego battling another ego. No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, you're not. And you look at world power and wars, it's the same thing.
Well,
We are
politics,
better
right?
than you, or we need these things more than you need those things.
Yes.
And so to me, the question is, how do we get around that? How do we stop doing that? How do we not react from ego when attempting to resolve the issues that face us? So to me, I refer to that as learning to manage our ego, because ego is
Well,
going to be
yes.
there, and ego is not
Do
a
you,
bad thing. It's how we identify who we are, so it's not a bad thing. It's just we don't want that angry, defensive, attacking ego running the show.
yes, and I think it's great that you mention it at all, because then we can get a greater understanding. I mean, nothing in itself is bad, is it? It's how it's used and how it's balanced in its use. I would have thought that we could safely say about it. And so if we're getting scientific here, we can now look at Homo erectus in his natural environment. This this is the man cave was meeting. I don't know what they were eating, but you could say, couldn't you, that in a gathering of males, the ego might be quite prominent because they are asserting their person. It's great, isn't it? We've got an anthropological study in front of our very eyes here. a gathering of primates.
Well, it certainly
Developed
is a
primates.
stereotype. Yeah.
Yes, and it's quite in this sort of situation, it might be quite useful for a group of males to assert themselves with their various personalities, because that's another word for it in a way, isn't it? It is ego is also personality, and when you were talking about how it's captured or created in the first 4 years, I was reminded of that. I don't know if it's a psychotherapeutic saying, but it takes 4 decades to get over the first 4 years, and that's what we're talking about, aren't we? We're talking about the creation of worldly personality, but also all the survival structures and survival mechanisms, and they're not all healthy, are they? I mean, I've been doing quite a lot of work on this myself recently. I've had
Well, I
quite the
think
time of it.
we don't. I mean, the theory of evolution, especially when you're talking about long cycles of reproduction, can take thousands of years. And
Yeah,
so, referring back to the books that I referred to last week, the idea is that our capacity to evolve is much slower than our circumstances demand.
yes,
So, now we're trying to run quote unquote civilized world, but we're still essentially mostly cave people inside. So how do we do that? And that forces us into this state of greater self-awareness, so that we can, again, the repeated cycle of notice, choose, and act. We have the capacity to do that beyond, as far as I know, any other living species on the planet. I don't know enough about chimpanzees and dolphins to know if they have that capacity or not, but humans certainly do have that capacity, where other less developed beings don't. They just exist based on their intuition, or based on their instinct, or whatever that is. That's how they function and survive. We have that added advantage of being able to rewrite our programming, or at least overwrite it. We can say, all right, my instinct is to punch you in the nose, but I can overwrite that and say,
yes,
that's not really going to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish. Why do I want to punch you in the nose is a good question for me to look at. And they say, oh,
yes,
because I see your ego challenging my ego. So now my ego wants to fight you because I
yeah,
need to be better than you, or you can't tell me I don't have a right to exist. So if we can begin to manage that, which is an ongoing process, because ego doesn't go away. And it's, like I said, it's not a bad thing, because it's a part of who we are. It helps us to identify something unique or special that we might have to offer the world that someone else may not have to offer. So ego is a part of that. It's just that reactive ego that we're talking about, that the times where ego feels challenged, how do we manage that? And that takes practice. For me, it started with, do I really need to assert myself here?
yes, yeah.
So,
Well, and
what am
reminders,
I?
which is what you do. We're very grateful for the reminder as well to look at how these this phenomenon exists and what effect it might have, to not only understand it, but to practice life in a different way based on that understanding. You had me certainly on long cycles of reproduction, as I suspect you did with a few others as well. a little bit earlier on. And I think this will continue. We were talking about the caveman, weren't we? And now we've developed some thoughts on top of that about the ego. So I presume next week there'll be the further development in how this can be
I'd love to
observed.
continue that. And just to conclude today, I want to add that there are subtle forms of ego assertion that tend to be challenging another person's ego, that we all tend to do, which is express our opinions that are counter to other people's opinions, if that is a personal assault on someone else's opinion. We correct people. That is a very subtle way of asserting, I know more than you know. I'm going to correct you. So when we do that in public, now we're challenging the other person's ego, because, well, maybe it doesn't even have to be in public, but we're saying, I'm better than you, or I know more than you, you're wrong. And all of those are ego statements. So when we feel the need to correct somebody, that's a good moment in terms of the practice of managing ego. That's a good moment to take a look. Why do I need to correct this person? What is going to change as a result of that? Is it even necessary? And I found myself getting much quieter when I see ego starting to go. It's like, I'm only one, and I don't know how many hundreds of billions of humans that have existed in the history of the planet. My words aren't going to really have an impact on this. So just leave it alone.
Very good. Okay. If only more people could do that, James. And of course, we have technology that really does support the ego, doesn't it? It's like an amplifier for those those forms of behavior that you're talking about. We should welcome Gilda in just a moment. But before we do, let us say that you have, of course, and as usual, inspired a few thoughts this morning. Darren saying, you've got me again with the name. Smart people realize. You mentioned Lao Tzu, or Randy did earlier on. Smart people realize how stupid they are not knowing everything, because they know they don't know everything. It's the dumb that know everything. I wonder if that's a put down of the dumb there, but I think we get, or the so-called dumb. Thank you very much for that, Darren. I think we know what you're getting at there. And also, we're not just looking at Homo erectus here. We can also look at ants. They work for a collective cause, just as man cavers make sure that the serial killer in the group is fed first. You have to guess for yourself which one they're referring to in that picture there. James, thank you very much. Moaz also, hold on a minute, quite enough of that. Moaz is also wanting to know what the book was that you mentioned. He wants to watch the replay, but perhaps you could save him all that work and let him know which book you were referring to before we go to...
it's actually a combination of books. The one that I read is called Secrets About Men. Secrets About Men Every Woman Should Know, which is a very hokey title. And the other is much more known, which is Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, written by two people who had a living together relationship for a period of time. So they're essentially the same book, from what I could tell. They cover the same material. I just happen to like
value. They both got some value out of the relationship after they parted, by the sound of it.
Yes, absolutely. I imagine them having coffee, talking about these ideas that became books. So Barbara DeAngelis is the author of the book that I read, and I can't remember the name of the author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
Okay, expect the sequel, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and Man Cavers Are From Portugal, which will be an excellent twist in that particular publishing franchise. Thank you very much, James. Let's set it up for Gilda to grace our screen now.
Yes, always my
Gilda P on GMP every Monday morning. Her approach to self is oh so fine and always reassuring. It's Gilda P on GMP every Monday morning.
Well, the thanks are coming in, James, and the questions are coming in. Bon dia, Gilda. Bon dia, how are you, Gilda? Good morning. How are you? Were you in an exotic place? The sunshine is blinding coming in through the window behind you.
Yeah, I wanted you to see the beautiful scenario.
Yeah.
But it's against the sun one more time.
Well, okay, where are you then? What's going on this week?
So I'm in Cascais.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Yes, because we are going to have a party today.
We being
party?
who? Yes.
Yeah,
First thought
because
for me and James is we haven't been invited to this party. But go on, tell us about it.
it was Hayes' birthday on Friday, but
Yes.
because we had many people going to SEF on Friday, we could not celebrate. So we are going to celebrate today.
Oh, that's wonderful news, Gilda. So you celebrated 8 years of the company
Yes.
from where that you founded, and from or who on behalf of you speak on Migration Monday. So EIA is 8 years old. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So I think it's really good.
Parabéns.
Bada bangs. I think it's really important for us to give us a bit of the backstory about how it began on this special occasion. But before you do, what does an A party look like in Cascais this morning? What are you going to be doing with everybody from the firm?
Okay, so we are here at Mirage Hotel
Oh, very
in
nice.
Cascais.
Yeah.
And we are going to have coffee in the morning. And
Mhm.
then we are going to have a speech, a motivation speech.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Who's doing that?
We
All right.
Brilliant.
No
What
one
do you
better.
think?
I want to see a
This
recording
day?
of that. I want to see that because I could do with that at the beginning of the day.
No, it's talking about the beginning of the company, that everyone needs to work together to achieve more, and we need to keep delivering a personalized and customized service. And no matter how much we grow, we cannot forget the roots of the company and the reason create the company, because it's very important. Sometimes as the company grows, people forget, and what I want to do today is to remember people what they are doing in the company and why they are doing it.
Okay. All right. That's fantastic, Gilda. Well, congratulations on 8 years. That sounds like it's going to be a great day altogether. So coffee in the
But
morning.
it's not
Oh,
over yet, and
oh,
then I'm going
okay.
to, yeah. And then
Sorry.
I'm going to give some gifts. It's going to
Yeah.
be a pack of gifts
Yeah.
to all the staff. I hope
Nice.
they like, because
Me
it was
too.
chosen with lots of love.
Wow.
And yeah, and then we are going to have a lunch prepared by the hotel,
Yeah.
especially for us. Um, yeah.
Mhm.
We are going to have in the afternoon a team building
Are you?
exercise,
Okay. Can I guess what that might look like as well?
Yes, it's going to be no, that is
Yeah,
going
just
to
like
be after that. That is going to be after. First, we are going to have this Lego thing to see how do you work in a team.
Really? What a brilliant
Yeah.
company you run. Seriously, this is really special. This is really
what
special.
do they do at
Yes.
EI? They play with Legos.
Yes, right.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
James, it's Lego, not Legos. Okay, stop it with your
Yeah,
Legos.
because they are going to take, there is going to be a company there that it's going to take conclusions about how things are going to be done between
Wow.
the groups, to analyze how our work as a team is done. I must say that I'm a little bit afraid of the conclusions, but we need to work on whatever the conclusions are. And then
Wow.
after 5 o'clock, then we are going to have the drinks.
Okay, but it had to be included somewhere, didn't it? And probably best at the end of the day rather than before the
Yeah,
Lego.
yeah,
And then of course that at the end.
yeah.
What a day! And then at the end, possibly at some time during the day, what about me bursting in through the door? How's this?
Yeah, poor Mandela.
Okay, he's not
He's
involved.
going to
Invited.
feel alone.
No, okay. Well, fair enough. That is so diligent, conscientious, and powerful. I think as a day, you don't. No company owner has to do that, do they? But you're doing it, and not only are you doing that schedule that you've talked about there, you're afraid of some parts of it, which I think is great testament to you and your approach to business, Gilda, that you're actually a little bit afraid of some of the findings, but you're doing them anyway because you think it might be good medicine. Is that the right way of me framing that?
Yes.
Amazing. What do you think, James? Well, I'd go to that. If I worked with Gilda, I'd be delighted to be at that.
Oh, me too. Yeah, I think Gilda's developing an amazing business model that the world could be inspired and successful using.
Yes. And where did you get your inspiration from for setting up a day like that, Gilda?
I always try to do something different for A's anniversary. And of course, in the past 2 years, we couldn't do something different. So I had a lot of time to think about this year.
Yes. Yeah, brilliant. Okay. Well, I love it. And for those who haven't heard the story, and I think that's probably most people here, how did it all begin 8 years ago?
So I was living in Angola, and I was working in a oil and gas industry. And before that, I worked as a consultant for companies that wanted to move to Angola. So I helped many companies and many people moving to Angola, and I really liked that part.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that was when I started to to help people moving country and to help people settle down. And because I knew the country very well, to tell them the places to go, to help them to go to the hospital when they needed to. And I didn't have to do that because that was not part of my job, although I used to do that. So it was when it started, and when I started to go to think about coming back to Portugal. I wanted to start my own business, and I said I want to do something that has to do with helping people in mobility. And that's why I thought about and it was going to help people inside Portugal to move to other countries and outside to move to Portugal. That's why it's called EI.
Yes.
Immigrants and immigrants.
Yes,
those
indeed.
who come in and go out. Yeah. And this idea started in 2014, in the beginning of 2014. And my head, I was working and my head just couldn't stop. I started about the name and about the brands and everything. And then, like in May, I launched the website, and of course I started to see if people came and if people make questions, and I see that there were some people already making some questions. And then in September I decided to make the official opening. Of course, I rented a place that it was very old. I needed to refurbish, and it was in Lisbon. But it was a very small space. We started there. And then I hired Carla, which is with us until today.
Oh, she was the first of your employees?
Yes, she was.
Nice. Yeah.
And then I went to Angola again because I started that I could have the business running, and until it was having some profit, and then I could come. But it didn't work like that because it starts running, and then Carla couldn't handle all the issues, and then she called me and told me, Gilda, you better come.
Come back quick.
This is getting big, and you have to come over here. And then I had to quit my job and come really quick to Portugal.
Wow. Okay. Fantastic. And you've experienced an amazing exponential growth, haven't you? Casa Portuguesa is part of it. And how many people in the team now?
22.
22 people in the team. What an incredible enterprise. And as I've said before, I think the Portuguese government should take you, not that they don't take you seriously, but I think they should listen to you a little bit more with obviously the incredible amount of information and knowledge that you'll have gathered from people moving to and from Portugal in that time. Incredible. What a lovely success story. And are you celebrated in Portuguese business culture enough, Gilda, do you think? Or is it not for you to say? I mean, personally, I think you should be. I think you're an incredible example to enterprise and entrepreneurship here, and an incredible gift to the country and its economy. I think that's worthy of a public decoration and celebration. Does that actually happen?
I think that we had some people in the government before that actually gave me some credits in the past, and like invited me to go there and ask my opinion to make the law. But it depends on the people. Some people know that I exist. Some people don't know. Some people know and just don't care.
That's honest.
Yeah. So it depends on the people that make part of the government.
Okay, interesting. And in the business world, I mean, I think you should be lauded in the business world, certainly, as a great, you know, how it is for Portugal. Most people leave Portugal, don't they? You know, a lot of young people leave Portugal and go and seek fortune and fame elsewhere. You've made a company inside Portugal, and a very successful one at that. I think it's very important that other entrepreneurs have an example to look at. Not least because you're having Lego workshops. Look, they are interesting, says Stephen Wells.
Yeah.
You can get a block, though, a creative block. Get it? Lego? No, anyway. Okay, and be careful. Make sure you keep your shoes on when you're doing the Lego workshop, of course.
Yeah.
All right. And Darren saying, same, you don't grow and evolve without challenges. So excellent that you're factoring in the challenges there and being able to hear the consultancy view from a third party about how you're all performing together. I absolutely love it. Great to hear about the background. Great to hear about your day-to-day. Have a good one. Have a great party as well, I'm sure, at the end of the day today. James, is there anything you'd like to say to Gilda before you go this morning? Because the questions are coming in.
Just a personal congratulations, Parabéns, Gilda. I think the work you're doing is amazing. And as I said, the business model you're using should inspire many, many other businesses to be as personable with the people that work there. And I wish you all the best for the future. Looks like
Thank you, James.
Oh, yes. Excellent stuff. Okay, James, we'll see you next Monday, my friend. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
There he goes, slugging away. And we'll see him again with more thoughts from the Redwoods next Monday morning. Well, Gilda, what an exciting day. I'm sure we need to let you go as close to 10 o'clock as possible. We've got a busy day, lots to do. It's going to be amazing, I'm sure. Okay, let's go to the first question. Oh, actually, no, I always forget to ask you for an update first before we go to the question. So the big excitement, the big news of the moment, of course, is the digital nomad visa. Anything more to say on that this week?
No, because we've been asking CEF and the consulates, and they say that they don't have any training on that yet.
Right. Okay. So we are still waiting for that. As you said before, that was the replay. In fact, that we whilst I was away, we replayed your update on the digital nomad visa, and hundreds of people waiting and ready and watching that video. And I think there's global interest in Portugal's nomad visa, digital nomad visa. But of course, even though it's law, it has yet to filter into everyday usage at street level, if you like, for people to take.
Yes, but next week we are going to start pushing the consulates to give us some answers. Because of course that the law is going to be enforced. So next week we are going to start asking the consulates. So what is the documentation? We really want to put this process on.
Excellent. Okay. A question came in last week. Then as soon as I posted up the replay of the week before, the Global Nobles ask, Carl, question. No one has asked before. I wonder, and I don't think they have actually. What is the role of VSF? Do they collect documents and give them to the Portuguese consulate, or do they have another role? Thanks. And Global Nobles end with "Hey," which is excellent. Your catchphrase, of course. So, yes. How can you describe? Give us a sort of flow diagram of the various responsibilities of what they've called VSF here and the consulates. How does it all work together, and what are their respective roles?
That is a very interesting question.
Thank you.
And
on behalf of Global Nobles.
It's something that it gives me a little bit of nerves talking about.
Really? Okay.
Yes, because VFS, it's a company that it's hired by the Portuguese government. And it's very annoying because they are supposed to collect the documents. Okay? But they don't know anything about the law. And many of them don't even know how to speak Portuguese. Okay? So what they do is that they have like a paper, and you go there with the documents, and they look at the paper, they look at the documents, and if everything is crystal clear, they accept. If there is something outside the box, they send it away. And then if you have a company or a lawyer that is helping you in the process, you have to go and send a letter explaining that that document is in the process because of it and because of that, and explaining with the law, and then they need to accept it. Okay, or they send it to the consulate to analyze and they accept it. Mm-hmm. But it's very annoying. What is happening in some countries, okay, and sue me for saying this, but what is happening in some countries?
Actually, you've got loads of lawyers who work for you, so you're probably quite safe saying
that. VFS receives the documents, and then they are sending an information to the clients saying that the documents were wrong and they need to pay an extra to send the documents. Okay, and then we ask, okay, so what is the document that was wrong? Why do we need to pay an extra fee? Can you please tell what document?
It's actually their fault. They could have sorted it out sooner in the process, could they not?
Yeah, and at the end, they are not going to explain you. They send the process back. They said there is, so this is getting very difficult to work with the VFS, and we even ask for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that we want to see the public contract between the Portuguese government and the VFS.
Very interesting.
What really is the role, because it's getting really, really not professional way of doing things. And it's annoying because we are doing our job according to the law, and everything is correct, and our clients go there and they say that it's not correct, and then our clients get mad at us, and we don't look good in the picture, and it's not our fault, and this VFS doesn't understand anything about the law. So it's very annoying. But yes, the rule is to receive the documents, and they have no judgment about, or they shouldn't have any judgment about the documentation that they are receiving.
Well, that's not a good situation, is it? Apart from VFS, of course, who continue. Well, I suppose the government and the VFS are happy with it because it's a contracted job, and that saves them a job for the government, and VFS are getting paid to deliver the contract. But it doesn't seem like it's very good for the professionals who have to work with them, like yourself, and worse still for the people who are trying to get visas and come into the country and be here in Portugal. So very interesting. Thank you for that question. That was Global Nobles then. You called it VSF, Deborah, of course, VFS. And thank you for that elaboration of what they do or don't do as you've put it there, Gilda. What would be the right solution then? More accountability in how they do their job and making it more efficient. I mean, because then they could process more people. They wouldn't lose out, would they? I don't suppose, by being better at their jobs.
Yes, well, they could get more, choose more people with more. Sometimes I get the idea that they choose people with without any train or without any kind of formation. I don't know. They don't know what they are doing.
Yes, yeah. And you have been quoted already this morning. VFS is very annoying.
It's annoying.
Well, that may come up, but James might have that on his cue this quotes of the notable quotes throughout the ages. That one certainly will stay in the minds of many here. Thank you very much for that nom de plume. VFS makes more by not. This is the problem is sometimes in bureaucracy, isn't it? Is it doesn't really matter because the more trouble you make, the more work you have, I suppose. But it can't be very satisfying in terms of job appreciation or job satisfaction. They get paid more when people have to reapply. Yes. Well, I suppose they do in a way, don't they?
Yeah.
Gildinha. Well, I've never seen you referred to as that. That's very sweet, though, isn't it, Gildinha?
Yeah, that's like my parents.
Oh, that's sweet. Wouldn't it make much more sense for CEF to accept 9 months lease contracts since so many people won't include summer in the lease? That's a good question. Thank you very much. Okay, well, let's rewind then.
Yes, it would. I understand what you're saying. It would make sense, but according to the law, it for habitation purpose, it's 1 year.
Yeah, it is, isn't
But
it?
of course, that we have these funny people that don't like to rent in summer because they make more money renting at a week.
You can understand it, can't you? Understand that. VFS stands for very fickle service. We had that CEF, didn't we? Slowly exhausting foreigners, was it? And now we've got very fickle service for the VFS. We could get ourselves in so much trouble. Jim White, Moaz, yes, our first experience of VFS was with trainees who spoke no Portuguese. My goodness, we didn't get through the first 3 items on the checklist before we were turned away. That's not your fault, is it? Oh my goodness. Okay, thank you very much for your question. Lidio Dongwa, we'll come back to you because we've got so many others. Well, that's great. We're very grateful to the Global Nobles for starting that conversation this morning. And good morning to you, Jim. Let's rewind then. Fascinating this morning. Thank you, everybody, for being here on Migration Monday on this momentous day. Now we go to James Albon, who I think we've got lots of chat and comments. So if I do miss your question in about 5 questions time, feel free to remind me. But don't do it just yet because it'll get even more confusing. I think James was first though this morning. Oh, after Eduardo Vasquez said, nice to meet everyone. Good morning to you. Got to make sure we say hello to everybody. And Antonio F as well, who's I think was talking to some of the other man cavers. I'm glad to see that they're alive and managed to find their way home. What a night that must have been. Suze is also here. Taxi says, oh, to Mandela. When people say mean things, it reveals more about them than you. So just brush it off. It's just the ego speaking, as James was saying. So to this question from James, and James Albon, good morning to you. Lovely picture. The Northern Lights, I think there. Bon dia todos. I have a question about the new changes. I want to apply for the D7 visa in early 2023. I have passive income in the form of dividends and rental income. But if I decide to have a remote job while living in Portugal and maintaining my current passive income after a year, for example, is that allowed? Or will I be violating the new D7 rules if I get a remote job after a year or 2? Great question, James. And of course, these are the sort of questions that will come up as new visas come in.
No, you applied with your passive income. You are going to still have your passive income. So no problem if you apply for a remote job, because you are going to still have and keep the reason why you applied for the D7.
Yes. Okay. Excellent stuff. Anna also in this morning. Thank you for answering that, Gilda. I have missed people this morning. It's been a busy old morning. Sami Batar, Chanu is in as well. There may have been earlier questions. Oh, I think Darren wanted to say this to you. I love me some boots and pants to James. Thanks, James. We kept waiting. I guess it was because we had to get the digital nomad visa as opposed to the D7. Oh, I see. That's just a little bit of housekeeping on his front. But he was saying, telling everybody proudly, the Gumpers, that he started the process with you, Gilda. Anna has the info for the new
Yes.
push things through, which is great news. Okay. And loves to Gilda and hi Mandela as well from Tech Cowboy and Cowgirl. Okay, let's go back to some more questions then. I know some of you who have come specifically this morning haven't asked a question yet. Feel free to do so as we find the next one in the queue. Aileen or Aline, I want to move to Portugal next year. After moving to Portugal on the new D7 visa and getting my residence permit, can I open my own business or get employed in Portugal if I still have passive income? That's a yes, isn't it, Gilda?
Yes, you can.
Okay. As somebody who started a business and is celebrating the 8th anniversary thereof, Gilda, what would you say to people coming to Portugal to start businesses? And presumably you do help people incorporate, don't you?
Yes, I do, together with Daniel.
Yes, with our friend Daniel Reyes, the Lisbon lawyer. What's it like starting a business up? Just as a little bit of a tangent, what would you say? What do people come up against? How easy or not is it to start a business here in Portugal?
It's easy to start a business. The worst part is the taxation.
Yes, because there's quite a lot of it, right?
A lot of it.
And
And it's very complicated. I don't understand anything. I just, papers keep coming and I have to pay this, I have to pay that. And I just say my accountant again, another one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel your pain, and I think many do. And whilst people speak of the benefits of living in Portugal from a taxation point of view, and there are some benefits, it's true. Generally speaking, this is a country, a socialistic country, where tax is important as a contribution into the public coffers, not the public cobbers, but the public coffers. So you will be up against that, and I think it's good advice, isn't it, to allow a far greater margin for taxation than you ever imagined, right? From what you're saying. And those extra letters that you never thought about coming in from the accountant. And as you put it there, and another one, and another one, and another one. And that's why we have so many festas, isn't it? And a good and a good what would you call it? A system.
And then at the end of it, you pay so many taxes. And then you said, well, I got this little profit. What am I going to do with this little profit? I'm so happy. I want to take it for myself. Okay, but then you have to pay this huge tax to take this little profit. And okay, just leave it there.
Well, it's a good job you're not just in it for the money, I would say, Gilda, which is something we haven't acknowledged this morning. It is a cause for you, isn't it? And always has been, helping people to move about and to not face as much stress as they might. I think you have a humanitarian mission as much as a business, right?
Yes, of course. Otherwise, I would already give up.
Well, there you go. You didn't actually ask this, Aline, about taxation and opening a business, or that aspect of opening a business, but be prepared for that. It can be very demotivating to just get one tax bill after another. And of course, they always get the last word. And I think that should be factored in as well, part of the digital nomad entrepreneurial culture of Portugal. It's not good to debilitate entrepreneurs in this way, I don't think, if anyone's listening. Can I recommend a wonderful Portuguese book? Of course you can, Pete. Cane by Zé Saramago. Are you reading Portuguese books already, Pete? That's fantastic. In Portuguese, I wonder. That's really good. Eduardo, having a party. Yes, they certainly are this afternoon. But after a bit of serious work and contemplation at Lego, hey guys, any news about the new visas or vistos that will work at this end of the month? Well, we've already touched on that, and Gilda and Co will be challenging the powers that be in this area, should there not be any manifestations in real life having set the new laws up. Is that right? Am I right in saying that, Gilda?
We don't know. The consulates and CEF didn't have any pronunciations about the new visas yet. Yeah. I think that they are still wondering how they are going to process it in practice.
Okay, there we go. And Gilda will, of course, be knocking on doors and shaking trees to make this happen for people. Hello. Hola from Lighthouse Consulting's Raquel this morning. Good to have you here. Nom de plume work in the room with these Tonino for Antonio F as well. What about me? I'd like one of those, please. Nom de plume. Darren's really excited about you working with you. As someone hoping to get to Portugal soon on the new digital nomad visa, this is going to change our lives. That's part of what EI will be, or A will be doing for us. Oh, I didn't mention, when did Casa Portuguesa come into the mix?
Coming to what?
When did Casa Portuguesa come into your business mix of 8 years?
You really want to know?
Yeah. No. No. Would you rather not say?
No, I can tell you. I can
Right.
tell you. I
Yes.
had the idea at the same time. I'm
Oh,
going to
I
tell
see. Okay. All right.
I had the idea when I came to Portugal. So it was on the same year. What happened with Casa Portuguesa was that no one believed in my idea.
Oh,
No one.
not a single person.
No.
It's horrible being that person, isn't it? Whose ideas are dismissed.
And I didn't have time to run the both companies at the same time.
Yeah.
So I had this partner, and then this partner said, no one is going to pay for searching for a house. Gilda, you are crazy. This is not going to happen. And then I had another partner, and he said the same. So, I had like 5 different partners. Because I wanted someone to help me with it. And only like last year, I decided that, okay, this has to go, because it's really something that I am doing inside EI, and I want to separate the waters, and I need to go with Casa Portuguesa.
Very good.
But
Okay.
I feel that it's something that I lost so many opportunities with that, because it's an idea and it's registered, and it has the logo for, it has been 8 years that it's lying there, and no one believed it.
Well, good for you for sticking to it, and it's helping many people now find a home in Portugal. Well done, sticking to your vision and your dream. It is hard being that person, isn't it, who no one believes that it's a good idea. But you do have to be careful at the same time as well, don't you? You do have to focus in business, I think, and you can't be scattering yourself with lots of different ideas. But the time has come, and you've made the right circumstances, by the sound of it, for Casa Portuguesa to flourish. That's fantastic, excellent. What time? This next question for you. What time does the drinking start, Gilda?
At 5 o'clock.
Yes, not the right answer. Not as soon as Good Morning Portugal ends, no, and not as soon as the speeches, first speeches are finished. But you have been acknowledged as a good leader. Look, leading by example there, fantastic. Good news. So lovely to hear about that. Apparently, Gilda, I had looked this up. The 8th anniversary is about bronze or pottery. The anniversary year is known as the Bronze Anniversary. In modern times, linens and lace are also associated with this anniversary on the end there. And
Who is that?
No, that was me. Who I researched that while we were talking.
Ah,
You know how it is. The first wedding anniversary is
yeah.
your paperclip anniversary or something like that, isn't it? Nothing too special. And each has their gold and silver and platinum and so on. But you're celebrating your bronze company anniversary today. Parabéns from the Stalicas there to you
Thank
and
you.
the company. And another question about the D2 that we don't hear so much about. Sandrine Rita asked, does creating a company in Portugal that conducts business only outside of Portugal qualify for the D2, or the business should be conducted only in Portugal under the D2? Great question, Sandrine. Thank you.
Okay, if it is the D2 for entrepreneur, it has to be a company inside Portugal.
Okay.
Okay.
That's it. Okay. Simple as that. Fair enough. Anything else you want to say about the D2?
Company inside Portugal paying taxes in Portugal.
Yes, okay. The taxes that we mentioned before. Now, Losif Avagon, I don't know what this means. XS. I mean, this sounds like T-shirt sizes, doesn't it? I don't think there is a celebratory EI T-shirt that you can order this morning. So I don't know what that means. Losif, if you've got a question, do ask it in the chat. Dad joke warning: crunchy coated candies leaving the country. M and immigrants. Okay, I don't think that's going to work. Possibly a bit too clever. Michelle's got to go. Dinner is ready over there in Australia. And Darren live, not that Darren, the other one this morning. If I get the new job seekers visa and work, can I also operate a business? No reason why not, is there?
Yes, but
Oh.
you have to find the work. You know, you need to have a job contract, okay? So you can go to SEF. And after that, you need to have a resident permit based on an employee contract. And when you have the resident permit, then you can operate a business.
Get things in the right order. So don't come
Yes.
thinking you can just open up a business. That will not be acceptable to SEF. There you go, Darren. Great question. Thank you, Gilda, for that answer. Bon dia then from Gilda, James, from Jim to us and James this morning. And RRH is here this morning. We are Canadians living in the Middle East. Can we move to Portugal when my husband has an active income? He works rotation, 28 days in and 28 off. Which visa is suitable for us? Great question. Good morning to you, RRH.
Okay. That's a very tricky question. It's not easy, but I've done many D7s with the rotation 28.
Okay.
Although you need to have good savings.
Okay, D7 is the visa, and Gilda can sort that out for you, but it's not the easiest of processes. But get in touch and do that through the business directory at expatsportugal.com, please. RRH, thank you so much for your question this morning. Anna was mentioning, hopefully, official news on the new visa, September 25th. That's what we're going for. Okay, well, thank you for that, Darren. I think VFS work for embassies for many European countries to help people with their visas. That is right, in theory. Lee McGrady, thank you for your call at midnight on Saturday. Sounded like you're having a great time. VFS, okay. This is somebody pointing out the folly, possibly, of these sorts of arrangements. So VFS equals Accenture/IBM, or how these companies work together on a contracted basis, this kind of relationship. Third-party contractors that follow processes internally that make as much sense as Dolphin Moisturizer. Not happy about it at all, by the sound of it there. And it is a modern way of doing things that does make sense, doesn't it, for the bean counters and on paper, because you've got fixed costs, I guess, but it doesn't always work for the customer. Jot G01, who I think was also offering you congrats on the, as many people are this morning, Gilda, on the 8th anniversary of your business or starting your business. VFS Abu Dhabi refused to accept my D7 application again last week as the bank documents were not notarized the way they wanted. So frustrating.
You see.
This is exactly what you're talking about, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, what should a Jot G01 do? What can they do? They just have to keep going, don't they?
Yeah, because when they put something in their heads, you have to do what they want. Otherwise, they will keep refusing. But if I was Job G, I would say, okay, but you must tell me where this is in the law. Because I asked my lawyer and he told me this is not requested by law.
Okay, that's a good point, Gilda. But you know, when people are in this situation, they're not generally bolshy, are they? They're very compliant, and they,
because they don't want to get, they just want to be in a position that they don't want to argue. They just want to get smooth because.
You don't want to be put to the bottom of the pile, do you? I mean, that's what you assume, don't you? Is that your application is not going to be dealt with at all if you cause any trouble. But what is the right amount of pushback then, would you say? Is it okay to push back a little bit? Or do you need a lawyer to do that on your behalf?
Yeah, I would do that because at the end of the day, VFS will not have a word about the visa being approved or not.
Okay, so you can push back a little bit. Don't be too cowed by their attitude and their inefficiency. Maybe just mention the law, and as Gilda was saying there. Very good. Okay, Nazir Ahmed, can you please let us know if it is compulsory for dependents to stay in Portugal for a certain period of time within a validity period? as it is for the primary permit holder. What's Nazir referring to there, Gilda? These are the visa terms and conditions, aren't they?
Yes, they can. They need to ask for the family reunion.
Okay, but is this not a Nazir? But I think we need a bit more background on this. But is it safe to say that the dependents are under the same obligation as the primary visa applicant?
No, if the certain period of time.
Yes, and how long you can be in and out, I think, is what possibly. Well, Nazir, you let us know rather than us.
The same. It's the same for everybody.
It's the same for everybody, whether the dependent or the applicant. Okay,
Yeah.
good. I've got to the bottom of that. Fantastic. Lidio Dongwa, from your experience, Gilda, how long do D7 approvals usually take for applications from South Africa? Do they take as long as applications from India, or faster like the DC consulate in the US? And this is where we could perhaps go to the top 10 of fastest processing consulates around the world. Where is South Africa in that top 10?
Okay, from my experience, I think it has changed now. The lady that was working in the consulate in Cape Town, she used to be very expedite, and it would take like 1 month and a half. But I think that she left there, and I don't know how. Since she's gone, I don't think that we had a process over there. So I don't know in Cape Town how long it's taking, but I believe like 2 months, 2 to 3 months. And in Johannesburg, it is supposedly it takes more time. It's 3 to 4 months.
It's amazing. So you've got to know individuals around the world who are the principals at these various offices.
Not me actually, but my team does know everybody.
What a network! What a network!
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then maybe on the 10th anniversary, some of them will come to the party as well. Bon dia, Gilda.
They know the name of the guy in CEF that picks up the phone.
Great.
And they they know it's amazing.
That's why it's worth working with you, isn't it, for people? There's some value right there, that if you work with Gilda and team, they on first name terms with the people at the other end of the line. Fantastic. Bon dia, Gilda. Hey, Marty, just awoke, midnight here. How long is San Francisco taking? So yes, connected to the last question, it's been over 2 months since I'm meeting with them. My flight from Alaska is only 12 days away, so it's getting a bit tense in Alaska.
Yes, I know Marty it's being a bit tense because the time is passing, the clock is running, and his flight is almost there, and the visa is not coming out. Marty, I dreamt about that, the weekend. I think it was Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
But let's wait a little bit more. I have the feeling it's going to come out this week.
Okay, intuitive insight as well then. So we're talking about South Africa possibly being in the middle when it comes to the rankings of speed. India, Abu Dhabi nearer the bottom. But still, UK, I think London is near the top, isn't it? London's been pretty fast for people.
Pretty fast, yeah.
But San Fran and DC are still fairly quick, aren't they?
Yeah.
In the world rankings. Okay, there we go. Maybe we need to publish that as a chart that people can look at, a bit like a arrivals and departures board in an airport. Like a mara from Joao F. Morning, Joao. Hello, you bunch. Literally an expression very much used in Porto. And what's this? Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Okay, this might come up today in your inspirational speech. Ask yourself what makes you come alive and go do that, because that's the world. What the world needs more is people who have come alive. Howard Thurman. You could weave that into your speech later on. Let us know how that goes. Eduardo Vasquez. Yeah, excellent to know from you. I'll be writing to Gilda an email to get a consultation because what's this? Because I'd like to know more about my specific case. You know what to do, Eduardo. I'll make sure the contact details are on the screen before we finish today. Ola from Walk with Carrie. I wonder what that's about, walking with Carrie. It's probably walking with Carrie. Any update on the new work seeker visa? So that's not, we're not talking about digital nomad here. We're talking about the other one where people are coming over to look for work. Is there any news on that one, Gilda?
No, everybody is on this. Every visa is on the same page. The law has come out. Now we need to see how they are going to work in practice.
Okay. All right, we're waiting for it to come filter down, trickle down in the visa world. Alfred Demara, good morning, Alfred. Bon dia, Colin Gilda. I didn't get a CEF appointment on my D7 visa. Should I be worried as I need to bring my partner? Should Alfred be worried? We need to know exactly how long Alfred has been waiting, don't we, before we can make a comment on that.
And where are you, Alfred?
Where are you, Alfred? And I'm planning to move back to Eduardo for a minute, planning to move to Esposenda. My best friend is Portuguese and he's living there so far. We're interested in Forex together, but we want excellent. Lovely to hear about people who are excited about opening companies and doing stuff together like that. VFS Abu Dhabi are super strict. The only way I can resubmit is if I get a letter from the embassy. What? Renata is trying to help though. Okay, so you've got good help. By the sound.
Renata is very good with that.
Okay, good to know. Can I move to Portugal if I have an active income from my work abroad? Working rotation. I think we've done this for you, RRH, on that 28. John Gray is the author. Yes, that was John Gray, wasn't it? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. The Global Nobles are here, who asked our first question this morning, which was brought over from last week. Hello, Michelle. I think Michelle's gone for dinner now. Hopefully she'll get to see that. Shanu Himasha. Gilda sent you an email last week for a consultation. Please check when you can. I think that might be tomorrow morning.
I really checked. I already checked.
Well done.
I'm going to answer you.
Nice one. Okay, thank you very much for that, Gilda. You're ahead of me this morning. And what's this? Ora de dormir, vou assistir on replay. Okay, going to watch us on replay. Got to go to bed. Fair enough. Gildinha, have we looked at this one? Oh, yeah, I sent you an email a week back. It's waiting for you. Might be in your spam folder. Como dizer spam folder in Portuguese? Spam folder. I think we understand. Her Majesty's funeral.
I think I wrote you back.
Okay, nom de plume. There you go. Maybe check your spam folder, nom de plume. Yeah. Her Majesty's funeral schedule, 10:35, and the procession to Westminster Abbey. 11 funeral service will begin. 11:55 funeral ends with 2 minutes silence. 12:15 procession leaves Westminster Abbey. Thank you for that, Moaz, for this morning with what's going on in the UK. Weeks and weeks ago, Carl, I told... Oh, okay, fair enough. I told you I'd be calling you Carlinhos. So there we go. Fair enough. Okay, we're all up to date on that. Good morning from... Dr. Obaidi Hassan, I think. Is that what that MD stands for there? Good morning to you. Question from Sammy. We're coming into the last questions. I just started an online business with a UK registered company. What is the best visa for me, D7 or D2 or digital nomad? Good question, Sammy. Thank you.
I would say the D2, digital nomad.
If you've got a UK registered company.
Sorry, the digital nomad.
Oh, digital, because it's UK registered, not Portugal registered company. There you go. Digital nomad. And you would give yourself a contract from your own company? Is that how that would work?
Yeah.
Okay. And hello, Carl and Gilda. You guys are sensational as always. How about that, Gilda? Good to know. Thank you very much, Joao. And at 1 o'clock, continuing with what's going to be going on in the UK for the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II. At 1 o'clock, the coffin will be driven to Windsor Castle. Committal service at 4. Service held at St George's Chapel. 7:30. Private burial service. All times are London time. And
I wanted you to see the view here.
We want to see the view as well. Come on then. I'll give you full screen so that we can see this. This is Gilda's view. She is live from Cascais this morning. Oh, she's going out through the window. Fortunately, there is a balcony. Okay. Oh, beautiful Portugal. Oh, my word. That's fantastic, Gilda. Is that a tall ship in the bay as well?
Yeah.
Look at that. Cascais, good morning to you, to the rest of the world. What a lovely, lovely morning. Are you near the Boca thingy there? Are you the devil's orifice or whatever it's called? Maybe not. Are you in the center of town?
Yeah.
Okay, center of town at the Mirage there. Fabulous stuff. Excellent. Thank you very much, Gilda, for sharing that view with us. That is superb. Quite rightly, very pleased with yourself. That is a lovely... Stay where you are. Stay back up a bit. I'm just going to do a quick screenshot. Go back a bit. Go back towards that That delightful divine light behind you a bit further, so we can get a bit more blue in the picture. Other way, back. Don't fall over the That's great. Thank you very much.
Here.
Okay, another one. Yeah, we got it. Thank you very much. And last few questions then, because Gilda's got to go for a very important
Yeah, I
day.
need to go for my party.
Okay, last question then. Sorry, folks, you have to come back next week. Miraculously, one came available out of the blue on Sunday morning. Okay, so this is Abu Dhabi. That's not a question. This possibly is. I meant if the company is in Portugal from Sandrine, but all of my clients are outside of Portugal, am I allowed to qualify for the D2 visa? Final question for this morning.
Yes.
It's a final yes, very affirmative and positive, as I'm sure your day is going to be today, Gilda. Go to the business directory if you want to work with Gilda. You've heard all about the beginnings of the business and what an inspirational job journey it's all been for Gilda and the company, from the beginnings with Carla through now to 22 in the team, who are all going to be having a fabulous day in Cascais. Should we have a little bit of a rave to celebrate with you? On
Wait. First,
yeah.
I want to thank to this wonderful community and
Gilda,
to all the wonderful moments that
yes.
we had together for these 3 years that we are together
It's not
now.
that long. I think it's only about 2, but it does feel like 3 sometimes.
Only 2?
Yeah.
Oh, it has been so intense that it looks like
Yes, we've squeezed in the energy of 3 years into about 2, I think.
No, but really, this community is wonderful, and it has given me so many great moments and so many people in my life, and yeah, really touched my heart.
Oh, bless you,
And
Gilda. Likewise.
you, Carl, and everybody in the team,
Oh,
Gary, Astrid, you've been amazing with us.
Oh, thank you, and right, igualmente, right back at you. And please look at this. You age here, Carl. Stop it down. It's just the vibrancy of 3 years all squashed into 2 there. Yeah, please, if you remember to do so, Gilda, if you could say hi from Expats Portugal and the Gumpers and everybody here, wishing everybody a fantastic day of discovery and celebration, and a great big party and a few multicolored shots at the end of the day. And a little hug for Mandela. When you get home and you collapse on your sofa this evening and Mandela runs up to you, give him a little hug from us as well this evening.
Okay, I will.
All right. All the best to you. This is the best way for us to finish this morning. Thanks, everybody, for your kind words. We're going to go out on this one for Gilda. Where is your
I'm really happy today.
We can see that. And let's see if we can peak that even further. Gilda, have a great day. Ciao, ciao. Bye for now.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you everybody for your kind words. Look at that. Love the view. That's a nice place where she's staying, isn't it? I'm not reading that out, Darren. Thank you very much. Got to be so careful. Just letting you know I'm not in jail and still alive after the weekend. Well, that's always good news. If everyone could check in this way, marked safe. Garvo, Gilda, Marty, do excuse me. Lots of love to you. It's difficult. It is a really difficult period, this, where you're waiting for your visa to come through and you've already booked your flight and you may feel like you have to rebook. My dog has been worse than your Mandela this past weekend. I think my next pet will be an amoeba or a cricket. So he's picking up on your tension, is he, Marty? All the best to you for that. Carry online education. Please come back next Monday. We had to let Gilda go and enjoy her special day today, celebrating 8 years of running the wonderful A, and lots of other comments of support and and funnies as well like this. Fortunately, she lives and gets younger on Seth Tears. And I need to say good morning as well to Drew. Bon dia a todos de Australia. How are you, Drew, this morning? You are such a bad influence on the show, but you're completely forgiven. We've got dad jokes to go to. Quite a few. So this one sent in from Square Eyes. Why do koi carp in the wild? Why do koi carp in the wild? It's a tongue twister as well. Koi carp always travel in groups of 4 to protect themselves from predators. Why do they do that? Well, koi A, B, and C go on ahead, while the last one is the decoy. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. We did this with Techno Slug, didn't we? I love me some boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants. But we will return to T-Ducks. Yes, T-Ducks. Oh, and a God Squad tip of the day. Before we find the dad jokes, let's go to the God Squad tip of the day. Strange day today, but a walk can be great for your health. Find some countryside to walk in and breathe in. Yeah, and a moment of reflection. There's a mass mourning going on, isn't there? MOURNING morning around the world. It will certainly create an atmosphere of reflection and contemplation, I think. What better place to go and consider and let things go as well than in nature. If you can walk for 30 to 40 minutes each day and your health will thank you. God Squad tip of the day. Thank you so much for that. Let's find T-Ducks dad jokes. Where are they? They're right at the beginning of this morning, going way back, which is going to give me RSI as I do that. I only saved the comment that's dad jokes, but not the actual dad joke. So bear with. My goodness, you have been busy. We have been busy this morning. Cindy B's in as well. Lovely to see you yesterday, Cindy B. Sorry, I missed your earlier comment there. Lots of love to you, Cindy. So dad jokes then. You have been warned. Last night, my wife was complaining that I never listened to her or something like that. If a parsley farmer gets sued, can they garnish his wages? I'm not familiar with that turn of phrase, but I'm sure it gets one of these. Garnishing of wages, my goodness. And I can tell when people are being judgmental. This is the ego again, isn't it? As James was talking about, I can tell when people are being judgmental just by looking at them. Thank you very much for those. And that koi carp dad joke from Square Eyes, who sent that in. I think we've just about covered everything this morning. Forgive me if I haven't. I think I wanted to share one or two things with you before we end with a very fitting tribute to Queen Elizabeth II, created by our dear friend, the great Terence Austin, the artist. Just wanted to share one or two things with you. Yeah, been in Portugal. We arrived in Portugal at around 20 past 5 or 6. Maybe I hadn't put the clock back on the dashboard, but it's certainly late in the afternoon. And this is the first picture I took of the Gerês National Park. We're celebrating 5 years later on this afternoon of arriving in Portugal. 5 years ago today. It's flown by, a little bit like working with Gilda. So thank you, Mrs. M, for reminding me of that and sending me that picture. Those are those man cave guys looking like they've already got a little bit shocked and stressed by being together in that way. Lock up everything. Lock up everything. Lovely photo of Portugal. I don't know. This one does the rounds. I'd love to give credit to whoever took it. This is Portugal from the sky, of course. What a lovely perspective on this day today. And I have a very special English flavored bit of memery at the end if you stick around after a light-hearted end to the show today, after we have played Terence Austin's excellent tribute, which I'll do now as I wish you a very good day today. And of course, bearing in mind what's going on for many people. Okay, this is Terence's fabulous tribute, and I'll see you again in the morning for Consumer Tuesday here on the Expats Portugal show. Bye for now.